think
Lefty
about that
Giselle.
one.
No.
There's Dave
Gee,
Cottle.
I would think he might be in the running for that question, Dave Cottle?
Yep,
18th year.
Well, let's talk about the candidates. Dave Cottle, Dick
Dick
Adele.
Adele would be a candidate. You know,
Don Zimmerman.
Hawes at Hopkins and Seaman at Towson are not candidates.
Right.
Bobby Horsey fires wide to the near side.
Boy, that was a nice shot, though. Quite looked like he really had an idea where he wanted to put it.
Low risk. Either a goal or the ball goes out on the end line and you maintain possession. Loyola's still experimenting with the matchups that they want to attack. They haven't found anyone who can consistently beat their Duke defender.
Michael Sullivan, who has a goal in possession. Sullivan fires with the right hand and
last year, and Card gets a little disoriented behind the cage and elects to come around the far side where Gettleman beats him the near side, and he scores the goal. Gettleman, 5 goals, one of the leading scorers last season, 21 goals for Loyola. But that is a huge matchup. If Gettleman can beat Steve Card with some consistency, Loyola's got a great shot in this game.
So the Greyhounds with back-to-back goals from Sullivan and Gettleman cut it down to 1. Sullivan's goal came with 12:36 left in the quarter, and now Gettleman with 8:56 left. Here comes Duke, and a great save.
Great save, Scott, but an even better play by Hartopoulos to take the ball out of Jason Bourne's stick. Quint, tell us what happened there.
Well, Bourne right here should call for that ball. The defender should let him have it, because when the goalie has the ball in the crease, you can't hit him.
Absolutely.
And that play right there, Billy Armstrong, I think it was 25, he just got absolutely leveled.
Shooting down low was Durnan.
Dave will, great hustle by Bourne there, but Dave will not have trouble convincing the defensive player not to do that again.
You are
because he got leveled.
Oh, he was such a sitting duck.
Sitting duck is right. There's Bourne flying, and I tell you what, Bourne nearly stole that one.
He nearly did.
Great hustle.
It's good sliding weather too.
Great sliding weather. Bourne, we've mentioned, went to Mount St. Joe, but actually played collegiately at Catonsville Community College, which does not produce a whole lot of Division I players at this level. He's one of the few.
Changes now at midfield for Duke. Chermati in. This is Patrick. Oh, and does a spin move, found some space, and missed the shot.
Patrick steps in the crease after the move. Nice defense on the far side. Brian England, only a sophomore, as we mentioned, in the lineup for Joe Rodriguez, who's hurt.
You know, Quint Patrick looks a little bigger than last year, whether if that's, as you see, Princeton and Virginia. That's another big game, Virginia with an early lead. It's a little bigger than last year. Let's fit the weights.
This entire Duke team is known for their love of the weight room. And Patrick, there have been some folks who have criticized Greg Patrick for putting on too much upper body weight. They think it may have compromised his quickness. Now, I haven't seen enough of him this year to make that distinction.
Two schools of thought on that.
Gunnar Gettleman behind the
goal. Much like the whole baseball argument. You don't want to get too bulky or too big if you're a baseball pitcher.
Golfers have to be careful. The same thing, yeah.
Jockeys.
Yeah. Gettleman. This is Gunnar Gettleman. And a penalty marker down. First time we've seen that today. Back to Tim Gettleman. Using that size, 6'3", 205. He can really protect the ball. Not a real strong shot there. It's wide, but a penalty marker down. And the Greyhounds look like they're going to be on the extra man.
Advantage Stephen Card on that last isolation by Tim Gettleman. But this is going to be a cross-check hold, a call that we saw an awful lot of last week. The Hopkins defenders were victimized 5 or 6 times. Watch how the defender uses his stick to hold Gunnar Gettleman. You could just catch it right at the beginning of that play. Loyola's extra man this year has been absolutely lethal. 7 of 8 goals this season so far on the extra man.
Well, let's see if the Greyhounds can tie it up here. 6:55 left. They're down a goal, 4-3.
5 of 6 last week against Hofstra. 2 of 2 against Delaware in the season opener.
Horsey and Batista go around the perimeter. David Fields also in, the JUCO All-American from Catonsville.
Keep your eye on Sullivan, number 49 right here, the left-hander.
There's Sullivan right there. Back behind the goal to Fields. And now it's loose at midfield. And Duke up with it. Frood with a pass in front and a score. Frood set that one up, and then finishing off was Scott Bross.
Dave Cottle was screaming along with Charlie Toomey that it's an offsides for Duke.
Patrick with the goal and assist from Frood, but the whole controversy is at the midfield line. The penalty was released, and that allowed the Duke attackman to step over the midfield line and scoop the ground ball up. If we could back that play up, if we could back this replay up to where the ball was at the midfield line, you will see how the Duke attackman was able to step over the line because the substitution from the penalty was being made.
Yeah, that's what Connell was questioning right now. They're reviewing it. Well, not reviewing it, but they're discussing it at the scorer's table with the officials.
Bill Durgle.
Billy Durgle, yeah.
It was Patrick on the goal with the assist pass from Frood. Patrick's second goal of the game.
Remember, the ball was rolling up towards the midfield line, and then all of a sudden a Duke attacker stepped over.
Right.
And it appeared as if he was offsides.
Well, how big was that? Loyola's got an extra man. You're thinking that they got a great chance to tie it up, and suddenly Duke comes the other way and scores the goal.
Cottle is contending that they were over the line early. The guy stepped over the midfield line prior to the penalty being released.
Dave Cottle asking who has the horn. And Quinn, if you want to explain that Mike Pressler pleads his case. Right now the goal's still on the board. And in a game like this, a goal is crucial, particularly at a time late in the half.
Take another look at it here. We rack it up.
Watch, you'll see the ball rolling up towards the midfield line. At this point, number 12 for Duke will step over the line. Kevin Cassis.
He steps right there.
As he steps over, the player to the right, you can't see him yet, but he steps on the field.
Which would constitute the penalty being over if he was released.
Exactly, if he was released. And
he has to be released from the scorer's table.
Exactly, and there he is, Frood. So either this is going to be either an offsides, Duke, Loyola ball, or goal good.
And the referees are still discussing it now with Mike Pressler. You see the end of the play, Scott. Great pass from Frood to Patrick, who's right on the doorstep. Bourne really with no chance. Cotto has said his piece. Mike Pressler now discussing it with the officials.
Well, it's huge if the goal stands. Instead of perhaps having a shot with the extra man to tie it at 4, you're down 2 goals.
No doubt about it.
Big lift,
big swing. No goal. It is Loyola ball, so Dave Cottle and Charlie Toomey Quint win the argument, which you don't see too often in other sports, but you do here. Mike Pressler obviously not happy, but the officials conferred with each other and the scorer's table and came to their decision.
Teams are back to even strength, and Loyola will have possession on the end line, so no goal.
So it's 4-3, not 5-3. The goal comes off the board, 6:17 left in the half. And
I think Mike Pressler realizes that he got away with one, and he was, he pleaded his case with restraint.
Jason Bourne throws it across the field to Billy Armstrong.
What do you think, Quinn? Do you think it was a good call?
From being up here, we can't hear the penalty time being released. The penalty time is verbally counted down.
Right.
5, 4, 3, 2. So if a guy leaves a second early, it's up to the person with the penalty clock and the bench official to clamp down and say, hey, you left a second early. That's a foul.
This is a call you may get at Loyola, you may not get at Duke.
You think?
If Loyola didn't press the point, I don't think anything would have happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And but Dave's got nothing to lose there by pressing the point.
This is Peter Haas.
Nice screen.
Limited with that hamstring injury, but still better than most, even at about 70%. Ball picked off. Duke got a stick on it. That was number 26, Schwartz. Push against the Greyhounds.
Yeah, it looks like Gunnar Gettleman. Yeah, Scotty. So wasted opportunity there, but Dave can take solace in the fact that he's only a goal down instead of 2.
Schwartz with some masterful work on the far side.
Greyhounds get a stick on that. Stromberg in the middle of it.
Wide open in the middle.
Yeah, Gunnar Gettleman has it. It's a 4-3 game, a little over 5 minutes left in the first half. Both teams unbeaten. Duke 3-0, Loyola 2-0. Number 6 and number 4, the Blue Devils ranked number 4. This is Mike Batista, the All-American. The senior with a burst, shot on goal, and a score. Terrific play by Batista. He did it all himself that time.
Batista unstoppable on a one-on-one situation. The key to that goal was Loyola stopping the Duke clear, and then Duke had all their offensive players on the field. They had Hartopoulos, they had Schubert, and they had Kevin Cassis, players who aren't known for defense. Batista takes advantage of that. Look at him run right by Schubert for the easy goal.
So we're tied at 4. 4 different Greyhounds have scored goals. 4:49 left in the half. We're back right after this.
Toyota announces a 10-day tent event.
Second. What is it, 17 years at Maryland?
Dave, yeah, 17 at Maryland. Dave, member of the Salisbury State Hall of Fame. Great player down there.
Duke comes up with the loose ball. That's the long stick. Number 30, Joe Watt. Gets it ahead to Card. And a timeout call. Duke going to take a timeout with 4.5 minutes left. Again, a reminder, doubleheader. Toyota Lacrosse game of the week next week hits the road. We're at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse on Friday night at 8 o'clock as Hopkins takes on the Qs, and then back at it Sunday afternoon at noon, UMBC at Georgetown.
Hopkins-Syracuse, always a great game. On a Friday night, though, up in the Dome, it should be literally just explosive. I'm expecting a high-scoring game. Be interesting to see how Hopkins bounces back today against Hofstra, a team that Loyola defeated last week.
See, a little damp out here.
A little wet. Guys, want to mention, if you want to talk lacrosse after the game, 1300, our friends over at WJFK, Gordon Boone and Mark Dixon will talk some lax. Hopkins has a game later on today, and so after this one, you can listen to the rest of the Hopkins game and talk some lacrosse.
There we are.
Good show because they have live updates of all the games going on this afternoon. So
this is our skybox up here, guys.
Yeah.
This is the Loyola College Sky Suite.
Greyhounds scored that goal right out of the gate from Pratt. Then they went 17 minutes and 8 seconds until they got their second goal, and now they've scored 3 in the last 7:47. So they found their offense, and they've tied this thing up after they were down 4-1. 4:20 left in the half. Duke in the dark uniforms. They've got possession. Schubert gives it up. Hatchick trying to find some space. Schubert and Patchik playing catch. Patchik 2 goals in the game.
Nice recovery by Haas that time, Scott. Nice recovery.
Ball still loose in front. And finally a whistle. Sticks down. It's going to Duke. Number 27, Dernan in the middle of that one.
Keith made a good point. That was an excellent recovery by Peter Hawes. Dernan had the step, was dropping his stick to make a pass or a shot, I'm not sure, and Hawes hustling. Got to his stick
broke
right at
the
the
play
last.
down a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, got there at the last second.
In front trying to hop one was Frood, but that way off the mark.
Yeah, good help that time by Billy Armstrong coming off the screen. Two pretty smart defensive plays that time by Loyola.
Frood, their offensive MVP the last 2 years, and really have kept him quiet in the first half.
Yeah, but like Quint said, Scott, they have a lot of options. Frood is certainly one of them, and he's the kind of guy, though, I'm sure, Quint, that you know, you begin to neglect him, and he's going to knock down 2 or 3 in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and he's not known for being able to manufacture his own shot as much as a guy like Patchik or Dernan.
Schubert falling down. Greyhound defender down as well, and Loyola comes up with the possession. Stromberg.
Smart play by Stromberg to scoop that ball and circle back to where he had help. Had he scooped it and run up the near sideline, he would have gotten himself into trouble.
Yeah, smart play, I agree, Quint. Gave himself some room, some time.
This is Gunnar Gettleman, sophomore. Honorable mention preseason All-American. His brother, a second-team preseason All-American. And what's the call there?
Too many men for Loyola. They have 7 men on the offensive end of the field right now.
So possession back to Duke with 2:45 left in the half. Hunter Henry takes it into the offensive end.
First quarter of this game, Duke just ate chunks and chunks of time off the clock. It seemed like they had the ball the entire quarter. In the second quarter, Loyola has stopped some Duke clears. They've won some faceoffs, and they've generated some offense of their own. So it seems like the play in the middle quadrant of the field is really determining who's getting to score the goals.
And Batista comes up with it. Here comes the Greyhound transition game. And Batista fires and scores a one-hopper. His second goal of the game, and Loyola has the lead for the first time since they went up 1-0.
Back-to-back goals by Batista. He had 12 last season, but in 1998, he had 22 goals and 15 assists. Last year, he took the back seat to some great players like Viscarando and O'Shea and Schindler and Fry. But here you can see the skip and the wet turf. That ball just tucks itself right under the pipe. Amazing accuracy on the run. Mike Batista, back-to-back goals, giving Loyola their first lead. Actually, their second lead, because they led 1-0.
Yeah, you talked about it earlier, too. Those shots off the wet surface really pick up some momentum and topspin, right? So the goalies have to make an adjustment playing in these conditions. Under 2 minutes left. Greyhounds with a 1-goal lead. Duke still showing patience on the offensive end, as they have for much of the first half. Hatchick trying to muscle in against the double team, couldn't get it to Durnan, and it's out of play to the Greyhounds.
Durnan was open. Loyola did not really recover well when they double teamed Patchik. Durnan was wide open in front. The Greyhounds very fortunate that Durnan couldn't handle that.
1:39 to play in the first half. This one has the makings of being a full 4 quarters. Loyola gets it to Bobby Horsey at midfield. Horsey, one of those combo guys. Attack midfield and a whistle. Timeout, Dave Cottle. Takes a short timeout with 1:21 left, and might as well use it, right? Plan your strategy for the final seconds.
Hold for the last shot. 1:21 to go in the game. I don't think that Coach Cottle will attack right away. I think he'll pass the ball around to about 15 seconds, find a matchup that he likes, and then go. Or they'll do some kind of design double pick play.
Well, this Greyhound team that's been retooled after losing some of those players that Quint just mentioned, O'Shea, Fry, Schindler, Viscarando, all gone, 70% of the scoring, but 2 wins. I'm sure you're building confidence with each game. If they could beat Duke here today and get off to a 3-0 start, you're looking at games where they probably would be the favorite over their next 3 or 4, even though I think 3 of 4 of those are on the road. They play Fairfield. They have a game at Towson, I believe, but they've got a chance to really keep this thing rolling. 25 straight regular season wins.
And this year, with there being 5 automatic NCAA bids, Loyola not in a conference, very important that they can get a big out-of-conference win against an ACC team. This game would almost automatically get them in the NCAA tournament.
Their next 4 at Notre Dame, home with Fairfield, then at Brown and Towson. 1:12 left in the half. Loyola in possession. They've got the lead at 5-4. Back behind the goal. Greyhounds, Gavin Prout.
Less than a minute now. Loyola.
Keith's down on the field, by the way. We'll be hearing from him at halftime. And Keith, did you get an explanation apparently on?
Yeah, Scotty, Dave called timeout simply, as Quinn said, to hold the ball. They want to hold it for the last shot. They want to go in with at least a 5-4 lead, if not 6-4.
Loyola's outscored Duke 4-1 in the quarter. They were down 3-1 after 1. Now holding for the final shot, 30 seconds left. Horsey just running down some time. Now Horsey starts attacking the goal a little. Good pass and a score. Horsey got it to Prout, and Prout put it home, and the Greyhounds couldn't have diagrammed it any better.
I tell you, there's 13 seconds to go, but Horsey, I give him such credit for leaning in. He saw the defense rotating towards him, and somehow he finds the man on the far side. Watch it right here. He has the savvy to look across the field and find his teammate for the high percentage shot. And Loyola now, with their 5th goal in the quarter, they're shooting the ball so well. They have not missed the cage. Everything has been on the goal, and Prout gets his 2nd goal of the game. Beautiful play by Horsey, and Dave Cottle with the timeout. Beautiful move. You can't ask more from a coach than what he did there, to call the timeout, kill some clock, and get a goal.
Give the goal to Prout, but give the work to Horsey, because he really set him up with a great pass through the defense and then hit Prout, who scores his 2nd. And Dave Cottle certainly worried about where his offensive production was going to come. We got a timeout. Greyhounds with 6 seconds left now. Greyhounds timeout, that's right. Dave Cottle says, I didn't hear you. It was a Loyola timeout, yeah. You wonder why with 6 seconds left. Keith, what was that one? Did you hear?
Guy that came open. Remember, Joe?
You know what the call was? He called timeout for 2 reasons. 1, to get a verification of the call, and 2, to set his defense up with 6 seconds. Does not want to give up a cheap goal here with the clock winding out. So Dave working it, as you said,
yep.
Quint. working the officials and the strategy.
So this will be Duke's ball on the near side?
Duke's ball right in front of the Duke coaching staff. So the referees ruled that the ball went out of bounds on the Loyola player.
6 ticks left. 2nd quarter. It's been a good one for the Greyhounds.
Interesting. 6 seconds to go. The ball will start on the near side with 22, Nick Hartopoulos. He'll either go for himself and shoot with a screen, or probably they'll do some kind of pick play for a pass. I'd screen the goalie here. There's no one in front of the goal.
And this Hartopoulos fires behind the cage, and that's going to do it. Durnan got a stick on it, but we played the first half. Loyola, after trailing 3-1 after 1, they come back with a 5-goal 2nd quarter and take a 6-4 lead at the half. And pretty well played quarter. Loyola didn't make many mistakes, Quint.
No, they didn't. They seized the momentum. They were down 4-1, then Sullivan scored and Timmy Gettleman scored. And then the play of the first half would have to be that goal that was called back. Duke scored to make it 5-3, but the goal disallowed.
All right, let's go down and on the field now. Keith Mills.
Yeah, Mike Pressler just walked over with a smile on his face. You realize it's a marathon, not a sprint, but a tough way to end a half. You get a goal taken away. They make a little run, but what do you tell your club right now? How do you regroup?
Well, it's just, it was a tale of 2 quarters. I mean, we had our way in the first quarter, and Loyola made some plays in the second quarter. I didn't think we really valued the ball on offense. In the second quarter, like we did in the first quarter, we got very impatient, and it was one shot, and we were back on defense, and Loyola made some plays. I've been impressed. We've dominated the face-off. It's something we had to do. Their goalie made some saves early. We know this is going to be a 60-minute ball game. We're not going to get all whacked out here because we're down 6-4. We've been down twice already this in a short spring at the half, and I got a lot of confidence in my guys. So we'll regroup, make the necessary adjustments, and come out flying here in the 3rd quarter.
Okay, Mike, thank you. Now you have to get with your ball club. Head coach Mike Pressler of Duke. We'll be back with Rick White's halftime report and all the stats and highlights. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Loyola with a 6-4 lead heading into halftime.
The Toyota Lacrosse game.
Welcome back on a damp afternoon on the Loyola College campus. The Greyhounds lead Duke at the half. 6-4 is our score. Right now, our halftime feature with Rick White. Rick apparently playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire this week as we take a look at some of the big goals and big hits from 1999.
Now that game shows have become so popular, like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, we decided to play a little game show of our own. Who knows their lacrosse? The question is, who did the panel say had the best goal? A. Your first choice is this last-second score by Josh Hahn.
There's it down deep, final seconds.
Whoa.
Oh, the score! It does count. The goal was scored by UMBC's Josh Hahn.
B. A.J. Hogan from Hopkins wheels and deals.
And Hogan, we all deal and fire. Oh, and he scores. Hogan with all kinds of stutter steps and shakes and bakes and then puts the shot away.
Or C, Ryan Powell. Don't be so nasty.
Ryan Powell. Behind the back, Powell fires one home.
Is it Hahn, A, Hogan, B, or Powell, C? Okay, if you said B, A.J. Hogan, you are correct. Now, who did our panel say had the biggest hit in 1999? Let's start with A. Chris Anzalone shows no love.
He starts with the defense. Anzalone just absolutely steamrolls. He depletes Cordisco.
B. Mark Fry on the warpath.
Number 24 on number 24. Joe Siglia took the hit and Mark Fry covered it.
Or C. Justin Berry covering the middle.
That's what scares me are the high hits. And this is clean. That's with the shoulder, and it's a shoulder on shoulder. Oh. The hits that are scary are anytime you get the stick or the elbow up in the head area. And referees really need to watch those high hits.
Okay, we have A. Anzalone, B. Mark Fry, or C. Justin Berry. Okay, if you said B again, Mark Fry, you got it. Now, if you want to check out all the top 10 stuff, hey, check out Channel 2's College Lacrosse Top 10 Highlight Video. Hey, and you can get it at Lax World.
Oh, yeah. Some hits and some goals. Not bad stuff.
We've seen a couple good hits today, too. A couple big hits and a couple good goals here that'll make next year's highlight tape.
Yeah, Mike Pressler and Duke. Mike sure didn't seem panicked at the half. Said, hey, couple of goals. It's, you know, we're not going to throw the baby away with the bathwater here. And he talked to his team. John is a Loyola College junior, majoring in elementary education and carrying a 3.33 grade point average. Union Memorial Sports Medicine congratulates Memorial Sports Medicine Outstanding in the Field Scholar Athlete is John Speck. John is a Loyola College junior, majoring in elementary education and carrying a 3.33 grade point average. Union Memorial Sports Medicine congratulates Scholar Athlete John Speck for being outstanding in the field. Greyhounds on top at the half, 6-4. We'll return right after this.
"17 minutes as Duke would build a 4-1 lead. That goal by Chris Hartopoulos, unassisted off a face-off, gave Duke the 4-1 lead. But then Duke came back. This is Sullivan to cut it to 4-2, early stages, second quarter. Gettleman then scored to make it 4-3. We had the goal that was disallowed by Duke that would have given them a lead. But then Mike Batista takes over. He scored back-to-back goals, tying it up at 4, giving Loyola a lead 5-4. And then at halftime, Loyola is up by 2. But as Coach Pressler said, a tale of 2 quarters.
All right, Keith Mills down on the field. Coach Dave Cottle.
Yeah, Dave, you have to be pretty happy with the way your team stuck with the game plan. You dug a hole, but you came back and you had a real strong second quarter.
Well, I felt in the first quarter our best players weren't playing very well, and for us to be a good team, the guys that we count on, our seniors, have to really lead us. And I thought that Timmy and Michael, for some reason, were kind of out of flow. And Duke had the ball most of the first quarter. We had the ball a lot in the second quarter, and that's the way the game's going to play. Whoever has the ball is going to score goals.
What'd you tell your team at the half?
Well, I thought we care. I really thought we hustled, and I thought when we walk off this field that everybody in the stands will say how hard this great team plays. And that's the way we're going to play, because we're not made up. We don't have a lot of great players. We have some very good players, but we're made of the right stuff, and we really care.
Okay, get back with your team. Dave Cottle will have the second half face-off when we come back. Loyola leads by 2. Stay with us.
The Toyota Lacrosse Game of the Week, brought to you by Lax.com. Stuff for junkies. Union Memorial Sports Medicine, outstanding in the field. And Laxnet.com. If you can't catch the game on TV, click on Laxnet.com.
Toyota announces a 10-day tent event with over 18,000 new Toyotas offered as inventory clearance on site at 130 Toyota dealerships.
I'm not sure if that number is exactly correct, but the main point being that Duke has won the majority of the faceoffs.
11-2 now, fellas.
Yeah, and Loyola with Batista coming hard, firing on goal and scoring. His third goal of the game. Mike Batista has the hat trick, and Loyola has now run off 6 straight goals. They're on a 6-0 run.
Quint, same scenario as the opening face-off. Seconds into the game, they score.
This time it only took 11 seconds for Mike Batista to pop out of the scrum at midfield, and he shoots this from about 12 yards. Perfect placement. Beating Breslin. The first shot of the second half, so tough to stop, but from a momentum standpoint, Loyola, they get the last goal of the second quarter. Now they get the first goal of the third quarter. That's huge. Anytime you can get the first goal of a half or quarter, that's big for momentum.
You know, I thought it was interesting, the two coaches, Keith. Mike Pressler no panic at all, seemed calm. You know, we got a chance to turn this around. We're not going to panic. And Dave Cottle, real proud of his effort,
Absolutely.
The way his guys are playing.
No doubt.
And interesting to see that Duke stayed outside in these rainy, chilly conditions. Yeah. Most of the time teams would go inside, regroup, sit down, take a deep breath. They stayed outside, and their players were actually on the field for the most of the
guys brought up a good point. I only talked to him about 2-3 minutes, and that was it. Obviously, he feels his game plan is still solid enough to win this game. And he might be right.
Duke trailing now 7-4. They had a 4-1 lead. And that one sails way out of play.
And Scott and Quint, Dave Cottle challenged his veteran leaders, it sounded like, after the first quarter. And particularly Mike Batista has stepped up. Timmy Gettleman also has. So has Bobby Horsey. I thought that play at the end of the half was crucial.
Keith, he obviously realizes how big this game is. They got 4 winnable games after this one. They could be off and running.
No doubt. Against a top 5 team like Duke, huge in the eyes of the NCAA tournament committee at the end of the year.
He is asking for instant maturing process from Loyola. He's asking these guys to replace a Mark Fry, a Viscarando, a Schindler, guys that they counted on so much last year. Hey, they're not here anymore. It's time for Mike Batista, Tim Gettleman, Gavin to step up.
Well, an unforced error there, and Duke has not scored in over 16 minutes now.
Boy, a tale of 2 games is right. Mike Pressler called it. Duke controlled the first, Loyola controlled the second, and they're controlling the third right now.
Jason Bourne, lefty, fires it up to the long stick.
Nice pass from Dave Metz.
That's DJ Knott with it. He fires down low and a little wide left side and out of play. Greyhounds will retain possession.
And they let Knott almost walk right in on goal there, Quint.
Strange play by Duke. Communication from a goalie to his defender, so important. You've got to alert your defender when the shooter gets close to the cage. Hey, pick him up, pick him up. Don't give him that outside shot.
This is Bobby Horsey with it. Horsey had a great assist pass, and he fires on goal. Out of play.
Scott, that's the guy he beat, Hunter Henry, on that assist. And that time he tried to take him right-handed. The first time Quint tried to take him left-handed.
That was a sensational save by Breslin, who got a part of his body on it. You can see Loyola shooting low, using the wet AstroTurf to try to bounce the ball by Breslin.
Gunnar Gettleman with some moves. Oh, trying to get it to his brother Tim and just threw it behind him because Gettleman had a step on the defense.
Yeah, nice. Didn't really execute it, Quint, but the idea was there.
You think those 2 guys worked on that?
I was going to say the same thing.
In the backyard?
Timmy's big. Tim's 6'3". He's number 10. Gunnar smaller, about 5'10".
Nick Hartopoulos now goes to the left hand, fires, and a save.
Boy, was that a missile.
He can really fire it. And as DJ Knott took the shot for Loyola, Hartopoulos does the same thing at the other end. And had he scored there, Coach Cottle would have just absolutely gone ballistic. You can't let Hartopoulos run through the defense and score without being challenged by 2 or 3 defenders.
You know, guys, we talk a lot this time of year about the intensity of March Madness, but on the sideline at the end of that half, the intensity in this game right now at the end of the half was as great as any college game that I've seen since we've been doing these. It is fierce. And there's a guy leading his charges. He's as intense as any of his players.
What do you say about Dave Cottle and the job he's done year in and year out? This looked like a year where they might be down, and he's got them right back fighting against the best in the country now.
I was thinking the same thing during that end of the half when they're making that little run. You know, you've mentioned in your lead-in, Scott, do you reload or rebuild? Obviously, he's to the point now where you just reload. Hopkins has done that for 4 decades. Princeton does it now. Syracuse does. And looks like Loyola's in that same mold.
Up top, Schubert with a left-hand shot and a save. So Jason Bourne up to all the challenges.
And here they come on transition.
In front. Oh, good pass. Just got a stick on it, but Prout with a good look at Gettleman parked on the doorstep. Now loose at midfield. The Greyhounds back up with it. Long stick, Billy Armstrong.
David Metz on the far side made an initial sensational play to step in front of his attackman and catch that ball and then distribute it to a teammate. Metz, not the biggest defender in the country, one of the smartest, taking over Tim O'Hara's leadership role on the defensive end.
Oh, Gettleman got it to his brother who couldn't hang on. He was in position to score, but Gunnar Gettleman just couldn't settle the ball.
Quentin, you mentioned Metz from West Genesee High School, which is like the Dunbar High School in high school lacrosse, and they for years have fed Syracuse predominantly, but now we're starting to see guys from West Genesee all over the country. Loyola's got a couple of them the last couple.
Loyola always has had some West Genesee players. Jim Blanding, a first-team All-American here in the late 80s.
Gettleman tried to get it to his brother Tim, and they've had about 3 chances, and they just can't click.
Timmy looks like he's a little frustrated right there, because I think that, Quint, correct me if I'm wrong, should have been a score for Timmy Gettleman. He was right there. Looked like he tried to flick it a little too quick.
Pass was hot. It had a little heat on it.
Yeah, it did.
10:52 left in the third quarter. Loyola playing with so much confidence now, though. You can just see the body language of the two teams has changed.
That's a great point, Scott.
Now Duke trying to get something going. Artophilus is a guy who can do it.
But against a team like Duke, you can't waste chances like that, Scott. You know, when you have them down, you have to keep them down.
This is Kakel. Had a goal in the first half. Back behind the goal, Patrick. Chris Artophilus, left-hand shot. Is that in? Yes, it is.
Well, it is.
Had to check the angle, a tough angle, and I thought it hit the side of the goal, but it's in the back of the goal, and Chris Artophilus has his second goal, and that puts some life down on the Duke side.
Well, it's been about 25 minutes for Duke. They had a scoring drought of 14 minutes in the second quarter, and we've played about 5 minutes of this quarter, actually about 20 minutes, excuse me. But Artophilus scores his second goal. Watch the angle. He just bounces the ball near side, very similar to his goal earlier in the game where he bounces the ball near side.
You could see Jason Bourne kind of looking around going, where is it? It can't be in the back, but it was. Oh, and there's a huge hit. The Greyhounds number 12, Joe Mayer, the face-off.
Duke just leveled him head on head, hat on hat.
Mayer gets up and he's staggering. Now watch and listen. Joe Artuso, the trainer, out to make sure he knocked the cobwebs out.
Man, that was the kind of hit that we saw Mark Fry deliver out here last year against Syracuse.
Keith, at halftime, I'm not sure you were down on the field, but we were showing some of the big hits from last year. That one is going to be up there in the hits of 2000.
That is going to be take the cake for 2000. We hope both players are okay.
Woo! Joe Artuso.
You can see Artuso. Both players you can see on their respective benches getting attended to right now. These helmets, not like football helmets. They're not really designed for that kind of contact.
Yeah.
Well, we could hear that one up here. You didn't have to see it. You could just hear it.
Yeah, and fortunately for Mayer, if he bends his neck down a little lower, boy, that could be even more serious than it might be.
Duke trying to battle back. They're down just 2 goals. Patrick was working hard. Now up top, Nick Artophilus.
And that play could go a long way to determining the outcome of this game. If Mayer can't come back, Loyola is going to have problems winning faceoffs.
Chris Kakel behind the goal. Nick Artophilus gets inside, shot and a save. Bourne made the stop, and it's Loyola's ball.
And a big save, Scotty Quint, because he had a step on the defender. As you see Keating right there, the guy who leveled Mayer just a minute ago.
And now we've got a timeout, so the clock is stopped. 9:26 left in the third. Loyola 7, Duke 5. Jump back in there.
Both players receiving treatment on their respective ends. Keating getting some tape done to his chin. on our left, and you can see Mayer strapping his helmet back on. So the good news is it looks like both players are going to come back out. But the Duke guys were cheering like crazy. Meanwhile, their guys on the bench getting taped up as well. So I don't get it. They're both hurt. You know, what are you cheering about?
Duke 1 goal over the last 20 minutes and 23 seconds, but they're right in the game. Down 2, 7-5. Horsey gives it up. Batista, who has 3 goals in this game. Mike Batista, senior. Second team preseason All-American, Tim Gettleman. This is Sullivan, and looking at some of the out-of-town scores, Virginia up 2 on Princeton at the half. Sullivan, a left-hand shooter, going to his right, comes back to Batista. Some good defense on him.
Hopkins and Hofstra 0-0. This is a big game for Hopkins. We'll see Hopkins and Syracuse next week.
Watch the replay here. Batista loses it, but then gets it back with some hustle. That ball going out of bounds off the Duke defender, so Loyola maintains possession. Batista feeling confident right now with 3 goals, but he can't get overconfident and go to the goal. And you can hear Coach Cottle yelling, "Hey, Michael, if it's not there, pass it to your teammate." Exactly.
Under control.
Confidence is so tough to control as a coach because you want everyone to play with confidence, but you can exceed it and hurt your offense sometimes. So it's.
I think we saw Princeton do that last week, Quint. Every time they never lost their edge or their control, even when they were up 3-4 goals.
Tim Gettleman, big rangy guy. You see his size, kind of head and shoulders above everybody else at 6'3", 205 pounds. His brother Gunnar, the sophomore, not quite as big, 5'11", 180. Oh, that's stripped. And Breslin will play it up. Here comes Duke coming hard in transition. Pass in front and a shot. Oh, right on the doorstep. He wishes he had that one back. Patrick had a wide open goal, it looked like, and he just missed it.
That's like missing the slam dunk on a breakaway. If you're 6'5", 6'6", he just misses the wide open shot.
Accurate outlet pass by Breslin to the freshman Cassis inside to Patrick. He had a lot more time than he realized, I think. I think he expected the defense to be there, so he turned and let it go right away. He could have turned, pump faked 2 or 3 times, and dove into the goal with it if he wanted to.
It's a 7-5 game, third quarter, a little over 7 minutes left. Loyola was down after 4-1, and then had a big second quarter. Good pass in front and a shot in the score. Patrick didn't miss that time. He got a second chance, and a nice job of setting him up.
Durnan inside to Patrick. Patrick's got the hat trick. He seems to be the hot hand inside. Watch the double team. 2 Loyola defenders. They leave Patrick, and this time he brings that shot in 4 or 5 inches. Really a carbon copy of the first shot, except it's just right in the corner. Patrick, the all-time leading goal scorer, up the street at Boys Latin.
Great feed, though, as you said.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Durnan knew he had Patrick, and Patrick just stepped slightly towards the ball.
And they win the face-off and a shot on goal and a nice save by Bourne. They came right back at him, and that could have tied the game up.
And a great outlet pass, Scotty, to get the offense moving.
So the Greyhounds now have lost some of the momentum. Duke has cut the lead down to 1.
You know, Quinn, it seems like when Duke can play the half-court game, the half-field game at both ends, they're much more efficient. It's when they are getting involved in a little transition game where Loyola's really more effective.
Gunnar Gettleman working behind the goal, gets it to his brother Tim, shoots down low and a save. Wow, Breslin wasn't sure where it was, but he made the save.
Yeah, then Scott, number 30 for Duke, Joe Watt, kind of got greedy, Quint, after the save was made.
Watch the save. You'll see the ball get stuck up in the face mask right there of Breslin. It hangs under his at his throat protector for a second, but this ball kicks up and he gets it. You see right there off of his neck.
But then Watt knocks down the Loyola offensive player into the crease. So Loyola keeps possession.
Greyhounds with a 1-goal lead. 5:55 to play in the third quarter. Left-hand shot and the score. Lefty Michael Sullivan, second goal of the game, and Loyola answers and stretches the lead back to 2.
For Breslin, it seemed every shot was bounce shot, bounce shot, bounce shot, and then all of a sudden Sullivan comes in right-handed, switches to his left, and fires it quickly before the defense can help. Watch him here. He gains a step, and before you know it, the shot's on its way. And he just takes this straight overhand, high-to-high. Breslin, a left-hander, but that ball went straight over his head. Sullivan is showing me something.
Yep.
This is a guy who really an unknown last year.
1 goal last year.
Exactly.
The entire season. You talk about a guy stepping up in the absence of Schindler and O'Shea and Fry. There he is.
Well, yeah, you can't really determine whether guys are midfielders or attackmen here, but Batista, Prout, and Sullivan have combined for 7 of the 8 Loyola goals.
And other than Batista, Scott, Prout, Sullivan were no factor on this team.
Exactly. And you look at this team, and we talked about Coach Cottle and what he's done here at Loyola. They are like the League of Nations of lacrosse. They got New York, they got Maryland, they got Ontario, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire. They're from all over Ohio, exactly. And that's one of his strengths.
Yeah.
He knows that he can't live and die on kids from this area or New York alone, and he needs to find those diamonds in the rough. Guys like Batista from Massachusetts.
You know, that's a great point. I equate him to Gary Williams a lot like that. You bring players and develop players along who you have confidence in. Very few people do.
Mascarella back behind the goal. Oh, and stripped Gunnar Gettleman. Yeah, he got knocked to the turf.
The amazing thing about this game, it's been very physical. There's been a lot of hits and exciting plays. Only 1 penalty.
Good point.
Duke has only committed 1 foul. Loyola has not fouled.
Well-coached teams.
Yes, well,
you don't want to beat yourself. And now we've got an official timeout. So 4:51 left in the third. It's Loyola 8 and Duke 6.
Lacrosse is known as the fastest game on 2 feet, but it's actually the player's knees that are at greatest risk for injury. I'm Dr. Les Matthews of Union Memorial Sports Medicine. Knee injuries can range from a minor sprain to a more serious condition.
This is the ball.
Whoa!
Yikes.
That's a head snap.
That is a brutal hit. We've seen, like you said, Quint, we've seen a whole season worth in this game alone.
Loyola in possession. They've got a 2-goal lead as you looked at Mike Pressler, the Duke head coach.
Now, Quint, why wasn't that a penalty? Why wasn't that a man taken off for that?
That was considered a loose ball push. If the referee thought that the hit was overly violent, he could have called a hit from behind. Yeah, again, in slow motion, that looks like a crash test dummy. You know, it looks a lot worse than it is.
Yeah.
But
it's easy for you to say. You didn't take the hit.
That's one of the reasons.
That's when you're vulnerable, too. When you're in the air and someone comes from behind, as Peter Haas takes a shot, trying to get involved in the offense a little bit more right now as the game goes on.
Yeah, it looks like Dave's picking his spots for him. He's not going to...
Yeah, it's got every time.
Risk with the
when I was on the sideline, every time Peter came off, Billy Durgle or Charlie Toomey went up to him and said, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Checking his physical status.
Stephen Card makes the play for Duke defensively that time, and here come the Blue Devils in transition. There's another hit.
Mike Pressler wants time. Sensing, I think, gentlemen, that you know, his team a little out of control there.
Yeah, there's a flag on the far sideline. I think Loyola is going to be offsides. It's a good call. Gavin Prout, when he was trying to stop the Duke clear, stepped on the line on the near side. The official on the far side spotted it, and so we're going to have Duke's first extra man of the game.
Yes, Scott, today's Toyota Lacrosse Game of the Week being cybercast on the web on laxnet.com, and that's going to be the case throughout the season. If you can't catch the Game of the Week on TV, you can log on to laxnet.com for live and archived video webcast. And
probably go all the way back when Quint was making saves in those All-American years at Hopkins.
That's right.
In the archive.
Are they still archived?
Black and white footage.
Black and white. Don't forget, next Friday, 8 o'clock, Hopkins at Syracuse. We'll have that one live from the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, and then Sunday afternoon, UMBC at Georgetown. That one face-off at noon.
Yeah, and UMBC losing this afternoon to Cornell 2-1 could be a critical situation for them. You can't drop too many games to quality teams. And Georgetown, obviously a quality team. Don Zimmerman will have his hands full next week.
Just saw our cameraman up there with the rain gear. That storm that came through here about an hour before game time was nasty. Ooh. So hasn't been too bad once we started play. Duke in possession. They're down 2. Loyola up 8-6. They have the extra man for 30 seconds.
Scott's probably now down to about 15.
Oh, and a good pass and a score. Beautiful no-look pass as they got it to Chris Cakel, and he put it away. But what a wonderful pass.
This is Durnan's second assist of the third quarter. Duke just in their set offense. Cakel will cut through the middle of the field. You can see the Loyola defenders. Watch Cakel come out of the left side of your screen here. Right now, there he is, comes slicing through the defense. There's no coverage. Durnan finds him. Cakel's second goal of the game, and Durnan's got a bunch of assists.
Durnan actually did look him off.
Yes,
it was a no-look pass, and he put it right on the money. That's a great play.
Yes, Scott, and Chris came from a good 30 yards off the crease. Well-executed play.
Go to the goal. Good things happen. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. 8-7. It's a one-goal game. We've had a good one back and forth, these two. Cakel's second goal of the game. Patrick set up behind the goal. 3:15 left.
Nice play from Brian England to cut off the angle there, Quint.
But another face-off for Duke now. As we're about 18 minutes to go in this game, 3 minutes in the third and the entire fourth, the face-offs are going to be so important.
Liskey comes on for the Blue Devils.
It's almost like like an Eddie George. You keep pounding away, and in the fourth quarter, it takes its toll on the other team's defense. In this case, the other team's face-off guy.
Liskey gets double teamed. Liskey dropped his stick, and the Greyhounds have possession. 2:40 left in the quarter.
Aggressive double team by Batista on the far side, and Mascarella. Look at the face-off totals. It's amazing that Loyola's winning.
Absolutely.
This game.
Boy, but then again, Duke went 16 minutes, I think, without scoring. So, and they're a goal behind. So, interesting how this game has evolved.
Greyhounds hanging on with a one-goal lead. Late third quarter, 2:25 left.
Mascarella, who redshirted last year with a broken foot.
Actually broke his foot the last 2 years, they said. So let's hope he can get through this season. Greyhound showing some patience now. Nothing there. Mascarella will regroup on the defense.
Cassis, one of the top-ranked freshmen in the country. Perhaps the best midfielder on Long Island last year as a high school senior.
And we've got a whistle as Mascarella goes down. Had a foot in the crease. Sure, what's the call there, Clint?
I think it was.
Yeah, Mascarella's going to be in the crease. Great job by Cassis, number 12. And the Duke defense, you can see that was the matchup Loyola was trying to isolate, but the freshman, really digs in and plays outstanding defense. Watch it here. He gets a little double team, and you can see Mascarella tiptoeing.
Yeah,
and he steps in right there.
Slides on the line.
Good shot, yeah. So Duke with a chance to tie here late in the third quarter. It's an 8-7 Loyola lead. Duke led 3-1 after the first quarter with 6-4 Loyola at halftime.
See Michael Sadisher coming back on the field again, Scott, number 4 from St. Paul's, and his old teammate, Chris Cakel, he just flicked him the ball.
Michael, a sophomore out of St. Paul's. Chris Cakel, the senior. And the shot wide.
Frood with a step on the defender that time, but
still looking for his first.
Looking for his first goal.
I was about to say, is it safe to say he's been a non-factor? Basically, he has. It's really been Durnan and Patrick down below, and Cakel and both Hartopoulos brothers up top.
Metz certainly has held his own in that matchup, as has Stephen Carr done with Gettleman at the other end.
Time left at the bottom right-hand side of your screen. 45 seconds left in the third quarter.
Everything is advertised so far, guys. Been big, strong, physical game. Some spectacular hits and plays.
Cakel back behind the goal. Patrick out on top. Tried to bounce one by, but that's wide of the mark. That was Chris Hartopoulos with the shot.
And Scott, you can see his I understand why he plays wide receiver. His first 2 steps from the stop position are very quick. Just boom, quickly, and he gets the shot away.
Frood. Nothing there. Good job defensively. And an unforced error. Duke throws it away, and it goes to Loyola with 6 seconds left. So they fought off that charge.
6 seconds to go here. Look for Loyola just to shoot the ball. They should just send it all the way down the field towards the attack around the Duke goal.
Kind of Lacrosse's answer to the Hail Mary, right?
Exactly.
You know, Quint, there is an analyst job open now in the ABC Monday night booth, so.
Gettleman tries to corral it, but time has expired. So we've played 3 at Curley Field. Hang on, we've got a good one. Loyola 8, Duke 7. Back with the 4th quarter right after this.
Spring is in full bloom.
Goal of the game, and a big goal. Watch how he's in control of this entire situation. He knows that he's got a step, but he's losing his angle with every step he takes to the right. He looks Breslin down. Look at the motion. He's looking like he's going to bounce it. Breslin kind of cheats on that. He's got to stay taller in the goal and match up with the stick-on-stick technique. And Horsey, just with a sensational play. Earlier we saw his ability to pass. This time he takes it. Just such a smooth goal.
So he gave him some bait. He was looking low, and he went up the top corner.
He must have, because you see Breslin didn't respect that high shot at all.
9-7 Greyhounds. Here comes Chris Hartopoulos with it.
Another face-off one for Duke. So Timmy Gettleman really made it difficult. As a great hustle. Great
Batista.
Yeah, Batista with some great hustle. So Mike doing it all, Quint. Facing off, scoring goals, playing some defense.
These double teams are catching Duke off guard.
Yeah, there was a double team at the end of the 3rd quarter that forced turnover.
Exactly. There's been a bunch of double teams. Loyola, they're staying on their double teams. They're stepping up and playing that man, but then they're staying on it, much like Princeton. And sometimes, as an offensive player, when you get double teamed, you expect the first guy to run back and cover the other guy, but Loyola's staying on the double teams.
David Metz takes it in with the long stick, and the timeout is
Dave Cottle called timeout. Maybe Quint to regroup his offense there. Big part of this game, big possession here, 9-7 with 14-19 to go.
Some numbers after 3 quarters. Look at that faceoff, 16-2, Duke with the edge there. Blue Devils with a 10-shot advantage, but bottom line, Greyhounds now with a 9-7 lead.
Bottom line is Matt Breslin for Duke has not played bad, but Loyola's shooting has been sensational. Yes. They have not missed the cage very much, and all their shots have been well placed in the corners. They're making the most of their 21 shots.
Guys, if you want to purchase a videotape of today's game or any of the lacrosse games broadcast by 2 Sports, you can order a tape by calling Lax World at 1-800-PLAY-LAX. 1-800-PLAY-LAX. And also, you can purchase the highlight tape, the season-ending highlight tape, Scott and Quint, that we put together last year. The best of the best.
Greyhounds back. There you see the number, 1-800-PLAY-LAX. Greyhounds back from Florida this week. Spring break. Dave Cottle had his team down in the sunshine for a while, so
but he took some swings against Mike Messina, and
they're not seeing much sunshine today. So Dave doesn't have to worry about that nose peeling. That's more the attire of the day there. Nice hat.
But the weather has held off. It could have been real nasty if we played this game 2 hours earlier.
Horsey goes back behind the goal. Loyola up 9-7. Both teams unbeaten. This is Tim Gettleman, and it's poked away. Horsey after it. And Bobby Horsey, the junior from Westchester, PA, comes up with it. Uses that body, tries to create space, shot on goal. Breslin up to the challenge that time.
Breslin got lucky on that one because he went down low and that ball hit his hand above his goal. Horsey had him burnt on that shot that almost mirrored his first goal.
Nick Hartopoulos and good defense. DJ Knott running right with him.
Quint, when did they put a long pole on Bobby Horsey? Last 3 times he's beaten a short stick. Do they?
Well, Cassis had decent position on that last one, but you got to pick your poison against Loyola. If you put a long stick on Horsey, that means Batista or Prout or someone else gets a shorty. So, you know, that's really the main coaching decision nowadays as far as defense is concerned. Who you put You have 4 long sticks, or who you put them on.
With basically 6 offensive players.
Exactly. There are 2 guys you're choosing. You generally, you know, would put your shorties on the 2 weakest offensive players that the other team has.
Patrick working back behind the goal. Duke down a couple of goals. They've won their first 3 games this year. Greyhound defender down. Shot down low and a score. Liskey fired down low, and that kind of all broke down. I think Greyhounds tried to help a little bit. A defender slipped down.
Frew just kind of warded off or created some space by dumping one of the Loyola defenders, and it created that goal.
Liskey with the goal on the assist from Frew. Watch Liskey just turn and fire this. Bourne gets a piece of it. You can see the lefty upset with himself. That hit off of his stick. We're back to a 1-goal margin. Liskey played up the street at Gilman, a tremendous high school quarterback. Seems like Gilman has a history of high school quarterbacks who also are lacrosse stars.
Absolutely. Ryan Boyle headed to Princeton, this week's scholar athlete.
And another face-off for the Blue Devils as they continue to dominate that area.
Lauren Smith.
Lauren Smith absolutely went to Princeton. All-American at Princeton.
Chris Kakel over to Michael Sadisher, a couple of local guys. And now a lot of life down on the Duke side of the field as they sense things changing. This is Chris Kakel with it. 6'4", 205 pounds. Brood yet to score a goal. That's Michael Sadisher. Left-hand shot is wide.
Oh, and he bought himself some time with a nice move and got a great feed from Patrick.
Duke still in possession. Patrick. Now he's got some space in front and missed. Had a good look. That's 2 shots he's had right on the doorstep that he's wanted to have back.
No doubt, Scotty.
Watch the replay. Patrick with time and room, just missing to the near side. Patrick was a guy in high school who loved to dive across the crease. They've outlawed the dive.
Couldn't get it to Kakel, and the Greyhounds come up. Here they come in transition. Mascarella.
Nice play by Mascarella to stay in bounds. Duke thinks otherwise.
Gunnar Gettleman, flag is down. Haven't had many of those this game. It's been well played.
3 possessions, Scott, for Loyola here.
And this is Prout.
We got a second call coming up, a slash against Duke.
Prout getting quadruple teamed.
And now a 3rd call. So we've got 3 separate calls coming up against Duke. The first is going to be a push, the second a slash, and I think the third also a slash. Let's listen in.
So how do you sort all this out?
We've made up for the lack of penalties throughout the game.
In 5 seconds.
That's penalty number 1 on the near side.
That was on Hartopoulos, Chris Hartopoulos.
We get the call over here.
It should be a 6-on-3.
You may hear the official. Hartopoulos gets called for 1. Stuart Schwartz.
And Keating called for the slash.
3 men down. Sounds like a book.
Wow.
6-on-3.
How big could this sequence be?
Here's a quiz question. When Duke gets the ball, what do they have to do with it? They can't run the ball at the midfield line, or they'll be offsides, because you have to have 4 men back.
Point.
So when they get it, look for them just to chuck the ball downfield.
All right, Loyola with a triple man advantage here. And can't connect right there. That was Gavin Prout bouncing it wide. And Duke possession. And their side erupts.
Breslin closer to the line when it went out of bounds. Tremendous save and then hustle by Breslin.
Unbelievable.
Let's see what Duke does here. Card will handle out of bounds. Look for him to either throw it to his goalie or just heave it downfield.
And he elects to heave it downfield. It's loose at midfield.
Boy, that's a big play there, Quint.
Greyhounds up with it.
Because Patrick had a great opportunity.
The first foul's only a 30-second violation.
And there it is. Michael Sullivan has the hat trick. The left-hander's 3rd goal of the game. And the Greyhounds lead at 10-8.
What a wild sequence. Patrick goes from having an opportunity to run off the penalty. Just like that, Scotty, Loyola scores.
Good point. On that long pass, Duke had an opportunity to make the play, but they get the ball in, down low to Gettleman. The defense just gives that man right there, Michael Sullivan, too much room. And again, Breslin down low and the shot going over his shoulder high.
And how about Sullivan?
That was a must-score situation for Loyola. Emotionally, if they failed to capitalize on that three-man advantage, Duke would have really benefited from that.
Game of his life for young Michael Sullivan, the sophomore with the hat trick. And some banging going on at midfield as Mascarella throwing his body around.
Oh, great play by Metz. Was that Metz, Quinn? I believe
Just
that was
kind of
Metz.
scooped it up. Here come the Greyhounds in transition. And now they think better of it.
Smart play by Prout. You can see they put Prout up on the wing of the face-off. He's a Canadian box player, has tremendous stick skills. They love his ability on ground balls. But Metz made that play. And then Prout
it back
pulls it
toward
out.
midfield,
Exactly.
right?
Anytime you're a defender and you can't get the ball yourself, just get it going your way. Get it upfield.
Get it away from the goal.
Prout getting knocked around a little as he takes it back behind the goal.
Now being hounded right there, Scott, by Brass, who is still on the field from the face-off.
Brass has been a dominator at the face-off X all day.
From Centennial High School, as we said early in the game, Ellicott City. Really not known for cranking out a lot of players, but they've had a solid program. Mount Hebron, all the schools in Howard County.
See why Brass was second in the nation in face-offs last year, just dominating this game. Prout can't get inside position, so gives it up to Mascarella.
Tell you what, you can't dominate a game more than he has today. What's it, 18-2 now in face-off? That's unbelievable.
He has got to be tired, but he's digging in here and playing some tough defense.
Loyola up 10-8, 8:45 left to play.
And quite content to get a good shot here, obviously.
That's Sullivan with it. 3-goal game for him. Batista also with the hat trick for the Greyhounds.
Yeah, this is Batista's a first-team midfielder, but Quint, Horsey, and Sullivan on the second midfield, and they have produced big time.
We got a TV timeout. I guess that's us, guys. Greyhounds on top, 10-8. We're back. 8:23 left to play in regulation.
Key lacrosse games for Syracuse, Hobart, and others as the season unfolds. While there, check out more in-depth coverage of lacrosse news from all corners of the lacrosse world. And high schoolers, log on to find out how your school can get its own free webpage to maintain and post individual results as they occur. When it comes to all levels of lacrosse, laxnet.com has you covered. The O's
made it a football game. They could use a field goal right now. Loyola hasn't made 12 saves yet. Unofficially, Bourne only has 7. And then the last thing, whoever has controlled the ball has proved that they can score in this game. So the face-offs have been a big advantage for Duke, but Loyola, when they've had the ball, they've scored. So those precision tunes not as precise as last week.
We'll tune you up.
I apologize.
We'll tune you up. Bobby Horsey grimacing. I bet he's got a turf burn on the leg for making that slide. Great hustle by Horsey, but woo!
Better with a little water on it.
Man, I'll tell you, in a day like this,
if that thing's dry, you're picking up chunks of skin.
Wait till he gets in the shower.
Woo! It's a 10-8 game, under 8 minutes left to play. Duke trying to run their win streak to 4-0, and Loyola, of course, with a 25-game regular season win streak on the line. That's an NCAA record, trying to make it 26 here this afternoon. Shot up top, and it's wide. Nick Hartopoulos skipped one that was moving fairly rapidly.
Sent that one out onto Cold Spring Lane.
Hartopoulos over to Schubert. Looking out front, but Frood is well defensed. Greyhounds jumping all over Patrick. Patrick looked like he was shaking up, hurt his hand.
Patrick triple teamed, but he had super glue in his stick.
Metz with a big play.
And Loyola coming up in transition.
Helped by the turf.
Billy Armstrong still with it, the long stick.
Quinn, I think he's played a solid game today. Armstrong made a couple of nice plays there, one of them.
these no-name defenders for Loyola, guys like Armstrong and England. To hold this Duke team to single digits so far is a real accomplishment for this group.
Saw some of Prout's quickness there. Nothing developed, but boy, he's got a little burst to him. He is from Canada, Whitley, Ontario. Greyhound showing some patience with a 2-goal lead. About 6.5 minutes left. This is Gunnar Gettleman. Schwartz on defense against him. And Sullivan.
I would think at the 5-minute mark, Duke will have to start extending their defense a bit.
Sullivan with 3 goals. Looking for some space. Nothing there.
Loyola being warned now. They must keep the ball in the offensive box. Just a stalling warning against Loyola.
Well, I had to check and make sure DJ Knott had it. Looked down to see if it was still there.
Constant movement on the Loyola offense, particularly out front. Screens and moves, trying to free someone here.
Gettleman, nothing there. Knocked down. Schwartz slipped.
Loyola has run off 2 minutes of the clock here.
And Batista looking to shoot. Fires down low, and that time Breslin makes the play.
Makes a big play, Scott. And here comes Stephen Carr, their All-American defensive player.
Carr with the long stick takes a hit.
Takes a hit in the helmet.
No flag down.
He's called. He's asking for it, but
Brian England on the hit.
Yeah, but Quinn, interesting play from Frood there to give the ball back to the long stick defenseman.
England does a good job. He got absolutely clubbed in the head by England. Card attempting to either A, shoot or pass the ball down low to Patrick.
Now, Dave Cottle says that it's a pass, not a shot. Quinn, that was clearly a pass.
And you can see
Dave Cottle out on the field.
The referee said it was a shot. There was no way that was a shot, but the play before that was a penalty. It wasn't even close.
Loyola is extremely lucky that this right there, he clubbed him on the head.
That is as flagrant as any foul today.
Now the ball kicked and into the attack zone. Greyhounds keeping it alive with the long stick over there.
Was that Stromberg?
Stromberg.
Yeah. Stromberg. He's played end-to-end today effectively. You see the smile on his face.
And now we've got a timeout. 4:49 left to play. Loyola still on top, 10-8.
Lacrosse is known as the fastest game on 2 feet, but it's
That man, Mike Presser, when he looks at this film, he's not going to be a happy man.
He won't be happy with that call. I do also think, though, that the referees have done a pretty good job today. We're certainly not picking on the officials, and we're not playing homer here. They've done a solid job. Tough game. The officiate very physical, very intense, very emotional.
Oh. And problems there. Joe Watt tried to keep it in, but
and he's almost lucky that he didn't, because you have a 3-on-1, 3-on-2.
And here's the coach's reaction to that play.
You lip readers, have fun.
Duke
has had a goal taken away in this game as well, so.
And a big goal too. It gave them a 5-3 lead early on in this game. A common theme today for Duke has been their inability to clear the ball. And you can take a look at Virginia's dismantling of Princeton. I did a highlight package of the Virginia-Syracuse game. I was impressed with both teams. I thought that both Virginia and Syracuse were a level in front of the game we televised last week, the Princeton-Hopkins game. So our game with Syracuse next week should be a tremendous example of them. They're the number 1 ranked team.
Towson today,
coming off a 1-goal loss to Duke, they come back and get a 1-goal win over Towson.
Hopkins bouncing back impressively quick. 9-3.
Showing that they can play defense, which is going to be important.
4 minutes now, just under 4 minutes left. Loyola with possession and a 2-goal lead. They want to be careful and make sure they get something good here. Corsi fires and it's wide. Back to the Greyhounds.
I think Dave Cottle has to be ecstatic with that guy right there, Bobby Horsey. Michael Sullivan made things happen. You expect a big game from Batista. Game like this, though, Scott, as we talked about. Billy Stromberg has stepped up well. Horsey
Near miss there, and it's out of play.
Interesting, Quint, they're still on the attack here. They're still playing aggressive lacrosse.
If you can get a goal, that's better than time even.
And look at Duke defensively right now. Stephen Card's on the ball. He's their first-team All-American defender. And he's going to press the ball, and the other players are going to shut off. So Duke now with 3:32 to go. They're down by 2. They got to start taking some chances to get the ball.
It was basically a tight man-to-man defense, right? And a stick check. Ball is loose at midfield.
Didn't take long for the big guy to get the ball on the turf.
And the strategy right there works.
Duke possession. What was the call there?
10-second violation. Once Horsey had taken it out of the box, they have to get it back in the box.
Even though it's a loose ball?
Even though it's a loose ball.
So Duke in possession, and Dave Cottle wants a timeout with 3:18 left to play.
So some life, Scotty, for Duke, thanks to a big defensive series.
Yeah, and you wonder why they didn't try to use that strategy the entire game. You could argue that Stephen Card is the best defender in the nation. Let him use his skills. They shut everyone off. And how long did it take for him to put the ball on the ground?
Absolutely.
4 or 5
3
seconds?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the way Duke has dominated face-offs, that 2-goal lead isn't quite that big, right?
Exactly.
Because they're going to get a possession the way, the way face-offs have gone, they've got over 90% so far.
But Duke has not scored in 9 minutes and 26 seconds. They earlier had a 16-minute stretch, as you see the latest top 10. And we'll be there next week, Quint, to see Syracuse. But boy, Virginia dominating Princeton, as you said. That's
where does Loyola look next week if they can hang on and down Duke here today?
Loyola would move, obviously they would bypass Duke, and maybe even they could even leapfrog Princeton, you could argue. But, we're going to see Syracuse. We're going to see how tough they are next week.
What an unbelievable run it's been for that man, Dave Cottle. They've been the top seed in the NCAA tournament the last 2 years, 12-0 last year in the regular season, then got knocked off in the first round of the tournament.
Well, that's a tough way to open up when you're the #1 seed.
Yeah. Dave's still mumbling about that seeding.
That was 72% win percentage for Coach Cottle, 12 straight NCAA tournaments.
So here's Duke down 2, 3 minutes left to play. Loyola's 25-game regular season win streak, an NCAA record. Greyhounds trying to make it 26, and it's loose at midfield.
Mike Pressler calls a timeout wisely there.
And again, Stephen Card made a sensational play at the midfield line using his stick to keep the ball in the offensive end. He has been impressive today, number 32 for
And how
Duke.
about Metz coming in with that hack trying to jar the ball loose?
Metz has played well, as has pretty much the entire defensive unit, Quint. You see,
here's the play.
Quint, there's the Card play you're talking about.
Here's the ball coming upfield, and you can see Card just get inside position, much like a rebound in basketball, and then you use that long stick. And when you're strong like that, it's impossible for a guy like Horsey to bump you off of it.
Yeah. Game of finesse, power, stick work, as Loyola.
And now some strategy as the coaches are working.
Absolutely. Guys, if you can't get enough lacrosse, besides watching the Toyota Lacrosse Game of the Week, you can catch Toyota Lacrosse Weekly on Home Team Sports throughout the season. Lacrosse Weekly brings fans the most exciting lacrosse action from around the country.
And don't forget Friday night, 8 o'clock, Hopkins at Syracuse. We'll have it live from the Dome next Friday, part of our doubleheader weekend on the Toyota Lacrosse Game of the Week. After Friday night's game, we're back at it Sunday at noon, UMBC at Georgetown.
I want to tell everybody we'll have highlights of the Maryland-Towson game today. We were down there for that game. Maryland wins 13-12. So Tony Seaman's Tigers 0-2, 2 one-goal losses.
There's some of the games coming up on our schedule.
Yeah, Dick Adell's 150th career win today as the head coach at Maryland. We'll have them in a couple of weeks against Virginia at Byrd Stadium.
Back at it. Duke has got it down to a 1-goal game. There he is. Got his first goal. Jared Frood.
Jared Frood, 34 goals last season, 80 on his career. 6'2", 210 pounds. He's really been a mystery man today. He's been MIA until this goal right here, the biggest of the game, his first on the far side. Duke designed some little play there, and that looked too easy. You're the Loyola defense.
And now Gavin Prout for the Toyota face-off. Quint, you mentioned his skill in the Canadian indoor game. We'll see if he can match Scott Bross, Scotty.
Scott Bross has had the best of it all day, but not this time. Prout comes up with it, and that's huge. Prout getting worked over, and the ball knocked loose.
That's Billy Armstrong with the hit, but here comes Frood.
And Frood loses it. Batista up with it.
David Metz just threw a sensational check to get that ball out.
And how about the screen there from Prout to give Batista a little bit of room with 2:09 left.
Off to Prout.
Comes the double team.
Oh, yeah.
What a pass.
Gettleman in front, and he scores.
Didn't mean to step on you, Scotty.
That's all
Great
right.
play.
Great play made by Gavin Prout. He has 2 goals, but his assist may have been the game winner. We'll have to wait and see. It's 11-9 Loyola.
Prout wins the face-off. He gets mugged. Credit David Metz with the takeaway check, and then they get it down. Duke having to take some chances. Timmy Gettleman gets open in front. Watch the pass right here. Prout just throwing it to the spot, knowing that Gettleman's going to fill that spot right in the slot. Nothing Breslin can do.
Well, yeah, great. You mentioned instinct. That was an instinct play. When field a double team, look for the goal, and that's exactly what he did.
4 Greyhounds with multiple goals in this game. Gettleman and Prout with 2 each. Batista and Sullivan each with the hat trick. Under 2 minutes, 11-9 Loyola. Duke now with some urgency, and that's what you do. You go right to the goal and they score. No problem. Chris Hartopoulos just went in, and not much help for Jason Bourne. Where was his defense?
He ran by. I think Billy Armstrong on that play. Is it 25?
14 seconds later, Hartopoulos has got a hat trick, and Duke's within 1 shot of forcing this game into sudden death overtime.
No, that was Billy Stromberg he ran by, the long stick midfielder.
Watch Hartopoulos, his 3rd goal. He loves that shot down low. We've seen him do that 3 times. Again, face-offs are going to decide this game with less than 2 minutes to go.
Prout and Brose on the Toyota face-off. And Duke is up with it and a chance to tie. Chris Hartopoulos in possession. Oh, Hartopoulos just muscles down the defender. Batista,
yeah.
This is Patrick. Minute and a half left.
Armstrong on Patrick. Great help.
Yeah, they got a stick on his stick and couldn't get the shot off. Penalty marker. A slash against Duke. And the Greyhounds are going to have the extra man with 1:20 to play and a 1-goal lead.
Big defensive double team there, Quint. It looked like, I guess, Armstrong and Metz.
Watch the Loyola defense converge on Patrick. Actually, this is the foul right here. You'll see the top of your screen right there. I think that's Metz getting hit on the face mask.
That's the slash they called in this situation.
I think it was Frood.
Exactly.
Yeah, Frood with the penalty, but a big defensive play on Craig Patrick.
The defense converged on Patrick. He had open teammates, but there's no way in traffic like that you're going to be able to get the ball out of your stick.
Plus, with Patrick's mentality, he's a scorer. He can sniff the goal there.
11-10 Loyola. Time left 1:10. Greyhounds with the extra man.
They're going to have to keep the ball in their offensive box. They do have an extra man, though.
Batista and Prout gets double team, and that'll go to Duke. Try to get it ahead to Sullivan, and it's a turnover, and let's see how costly this turnover is.
Duke will be a man down until 20 seconds to go in the game. So the foul came at 1:20.
Loyola goes up and tries to double team right away. Now the long stick.
He needs to get it in the hand of the offensive player. Keating is a long stick midfielder.
And it's checked away.
And it cost them.
Is that Batista, I believe? No, Sullivan.
Keating's still with.
30 seconds left.
Loyola needs to keep someone at home in front of the goal here.
Yeah, and it was open, Quint. You're exactly right. Good hustle there by number 20. You see him running off the field, Brian England. Done a lot of good things today in absence of Joe Rodriguez.
Teams will be at even strength in 5 seconds.
And they too will double the ball.
Time left in the game, 21 seconds. Loyola up a goal, 11-10. Prout with it.
And that was not a wise pass there, Quint.
And it's still loose, 7 seconds. Time running out. Loyola with a 1-goal lead. Batista has it. He's trying to run out the clock.
Will.
And that's it.
What a finish.
The Loyola side goes crazy. The Greyhounds extend their NCAA regular season win streak to 26. Thrilling 11-10 win. This was a dandy.
Everything is advertised.
This is one of the best games we've done in 3 years.
Absolutely.
A great game, great hits. tremendous goals, a lot of strategic coaching, and this game had all facets.
Mike Pressler is maybe wondering how it got away, but boy, you give credit to both teams right now, and particularly the Loyola defense in the last couple of minutes. Excellent.
Well, a team win for Loyola. They spread it around. Sullivan and Batista, both with hat tricks. Jason Bourne came up with some big saves, and the Loyola defense kept that Duke attack in check. We talked about the size advantage. Duke with the size inside. Loyola did a good job.
Both teams with impressive efforts. You know, early season.
They made them work for everything.
Yes, they did.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Duke didn't get anything easy.
Nothing came easy today for either team.
And Scott, Duke could never get even with Loyola in the second half. Loyola.
We going?
The advantage, and that wears on you sooner or later.
So 11-10 the final score. We'll be back at Curley Field right after this.
Do you have a website you want people to know about? Put your website on our